Our boy turns 18, and his very first move is hitting up the hospital to donate sperm. But plot twist, his sample gets picked by a gorgeous billionaire CEO, and she actually gets pregnant. What is wild is she is his adoptive aunt he has never met, and she is about to bring his baby to their blind date. This whole mess started because his dad adopted a younger sister years ago, and on this exact day, Dad tells him to go pick up this returning adoptive aunt, so our boy heads straight to the airport. While checking the coordinates on his phone to find her, he starts crossing the street. But he is so distracted, he completely misses the red light until tires suddenly screech. A sleek Ferrari slams its brakes, stopping literally 0.001 millimeters from his face. The sudden impact forces the pregnant driver, Shi Qing, forward, slamming her belly against the steering wheel. She looks down. Her water just broke. After a brief moment of panic, Shi Qing quickly regains her signature icy composure. Realizing he caused a disaster, our boy rushes over. He admits it is his fault, confessing he was looking at his phone while walking. Seeing it as just a young kid, Shi Qing rolls down her window and calmly tells him her water broke. She orders him to get in. But what absolutely blows his mind is how insanely calm she is. Her water is literally broken, yet she keeps driving like it is just another Tuesday, telling him he is her husband now. Once they get to the emergency room, he needs to sign the papers as her immediate family. Our boy knows he messed up big time, so he has no choice but to agree. He keeps her company, but there is one detail he is highly confused about. Why is she not calling her actual family since they are complete strangers?
I am Shi Qing, she replies smoothly, so now we are officially acquainted.
He thinks it over, then asks if she simply does not have any family at all.
Shi Qing's hands grip the wheel, trembling, while the baby inside is practically ready to pop out from annoyance.
Shi Qing is rushed straight into the emergency room. While he handles her paperwork, his phone suddenly goes off. His dad, Ruyan, is on the line, asking if he picked up his aunt yet. Our boy admits he caused a huge accident and can't pick her up.
Ruyan almost loses his mind, demanding to know what kind of trouble he caused this time.
It is nothing major, our boy says, reassuring him that he can handle it. He hangs up quickly, but internally adds that if things go south, his dad better get ready to sell their house to cover the damages. Meanwhile, in the delivery room, Shi Qing also picks up a call from Ruyan, telling him she is perfectly fine. She tells him not to blame her nephew, guessing the kid must be busy with something. She mentions she has some things to handle first and they can meet up later. She suggests having dinner together, hiding the truth so his dad does not worry. Shi Qing hangs up quickly, and right then, the delivery room door clicks open. Seeing our boy walk back in, she assumes he is there to ask for the hospital fees. She instinctively reaches for her purse, but to her surprise, he heeds out his open hand first. He asks if she has low blood sugar, showing a few pieces of chocolate in his palm. She freezes, completely stunned. Taking the chocolate, she thanks him, but he jokingly asks if she was about to pay him. He extends his hand again, teasingly telling her to give him the money then. Shi Qing is totally baffled, but he quickly adds that since the accident was his fault, staying is the absolute bare minimum. Besides, he thinks she is definitely going to need some post-birth care from her official family. He signs the rest of the paperwork and tells her he booked the absolute best VIP room for her recovery. It is 2,500 yuan a day, so 3 days comes out to exactly 7,500.
Just give me that amount, he says, and I will cover literally everything else. He promises to take full responsibility and look after her until she is discharged. I have to admit, this kid is playing a seriously clever game here, and even Shi Qing is amused.
Basically using his company as payback, but honestly, that is exactly what she needs right now. There is no way she can refuse this. Shi Qing pulls out her phone, transfers 7,500 yuan, and shortly after that, the action starts. Suddenly, her labor pains hit again, and she is immediately rushed straight into the delivery room. Our boy waits outside for hours, pacing back and forth until the doors finally swing open. The doctor smiles and says, "Congratulations, you are officially a dad to a healthy 3,700-gram baby girl." He completely freezes up, but a huge wave of relief washes over him knowing they are safe. So his new routine begins, classes by night and playing caretaker for Shi Qing by day. But on the third day, he walks in and finds the hospital room completely empty. The nurse tells him some people came for his wife and took the baby with them.
She gives our boy a highly suspicious and judgment-filled look as she drops the news.
But instead of panicking, he is just thinking about how she only stayed for 2 days. He realized he owes her 2,500 yuan back and needs to return it immediately.
But here is the catch. They never actually exchanged contact info.
So he decides to look up Shi Qing on the internet, just hoping for a miracle. And boom, he actually finds her, Shi Qing, a prominent Shenzhou citizen. Born in 1991, she is currently running Shishi Media Corporation as its main boss. She is the chairwoman, but unfortunately, our boy cannot even get past the front security gates of her massive office. Left with no other choice, he holds on to the cash for now. The very next morning,
he is chilling in his dorm room reading when his dad suddenly calls with a strict reminder about their lunch plans.
He has to meet his aunt at Yingchun restaurant at 11 and absolutely cannot be late.
He promises he is on it, and his dad praises him for being reliable.
To make absolutely sure he does not mess up, he heads out over an hour early. On his way there, he spots a cute stray cat taking a lazy afternoon nap. The sunlight hitting the wall and framing the sleeping cat is just too perfect to ignore. Suddenly, absolute artistic inspiration strikes him like a bursting dam, and he cannot help but pull out his paints right then and there.
He starts doing some stealthy street art, drawing highly suspicious and strange looks from the people passing by.
One overly concerned citizen completely mistakes his beautiful masterpiece for straight-up vandalism. They immediately call the cops on him, and just like that, our boy gets smoothly detained by the police. After a stern warning and a 100 yuan fine, he frantically hails a cab and rushes to the restaurant. He drank way too much tea back at the station, so he immediately sprints straight to the restroom upon arriving. While he is handling his business, back in the private dining room, Gu Yunshan is feeling incredibly apologetic. He complains that Xiaozi ran off to who knows where again, despite promising to be right on time.
His sister tells him not to worry, since they will have plenty of chances to meet.
After wrapping up her quick goodbyes, Shi Qing starts making her way out toward the main exit of the restaurant. Suddenly, she spots a pack of hungry reporters hunting for her and heading right in her direction. Panicking as they get closer, she ducks straight into the nearest restroom to hide from them. Our boy is right in the middle of taking a leak when she suddenly bursts right in on him. Her eyes accidentally drift down, she freezes in absolute shock and immediately averts her gaze in panic. He gasps that this is the men's room, nearly cutting his flow right then and there. One hand covers his crotch while the other points at the men's room sign. Seeing him scream, Shi Qing slams her hand over his mouth. He doesn't even have time to pull up his pants before she shoves him into a stall. Panicking, he asks what she is doing. He warns her he is literally still a minor. Up close, he recognizes her gorgeous face, and she realizes exactly who he is too. Honestly, the comedy in this series is top tier. A restroom reunion is crazy. And it's the men's room at that, so Shi Qing quickly signals him to be quiet. Footsteps echo right outside, and a highly confused main character whispers if he can go. His pants are literally still around his ankles.
She tells him to shut up, pressing him hard against the corner so he stays quiet.
They are pressed flush against each other, making him wince and beg her to stop.
Someone is outside, she whispers.
He sighs, whispering that if she stops moving, his body won't react either. She glances down, blushes instantly, and mutters under her breath that he is a total pervert.
Who is the pervert here? He was just minding his business when she stormed in and trapped him.
Annoyed by his endless complaining, she uses a quick, painful pinch to finally shut him up. Silence at last. Just in time, too, as heavy footsteps enter the room. Seeing her panic, his own heart starts racing. Outside, a reporter kicks open a stall door.
The guy is checking every single stall, and he is already right next door.
Shrinking back in fear, a paint can in his pocket clinks loudly against the wooden wall. The reporter stops. What was that noise? Terrified they will look under the door, Shi Qing literally jumps right onto him. He stares at her in shock, but she just folds her hands, begging him to help. The reporter starts pounding on their stall door, demanding to know if anyone is inside. Our boy yells out, "What is the rush? Can a guy get some privacy?" Hearing a man inside, the reporter finally leaves. Both of them exhale in pure relief. Shi Qing scrambles to make her escape, but not before tying his pants back up for him. She ties a neat little bow knot and whispers a quick thanks to her savior.
She slips out, but he pursues.
Dashing after her, he grabs her wrist.
He asks if she remembers transferring 8,000 yuan to him at the hospital. Since she discharged a day early, she ended up overpaying him by 2,500. Handing her an envelope, he explains there are 2,400 yuan inside. He spent the remaining 100 on a small emergency, but promises to transfer it online. To be fair, he had to grab that cash after his little police station incident earlier. She looks at him in surprise, amused that he actually kept track of that bill. Taking the envelope, she tells him to keep the change and turns to leave.
But he is too honest for that, pulling out his phone to send the rest.
Sighing, she tells the kid she is in a massive rush and really has to go. He tries to protest, but she is already running out of the door.
By the time he catches up and makes it outside, she is gone. Boom! Plot twist. She is actually a whole chairman, already safe in her luxury car. Her driver is amazed those reporters missed her. She simply replies she was in the restroom. But as they drive off, the absolute absurdity of what just happened finally hits her.
He can't help but think back to what he just saw in the restroom. Like, seriously, what are kids eating these days to grow that big?
Right on cue, his dad calls him. The old man is furious, immediately barking, "You brat! What did I tell you earlier today? How did you promise me? You never listen!" Lucy tries to explain. Look, it's not like I wanted to skip out, but a sudden emergency held me up. His dad, Gu Yunshan, gets even madder, snapping back. Last time I asked you to pick up your little aunt?
You said the exact same thing. Is your little aunt cursed or something?
Our boy is secretly thinking, well, literally every time I try to meet this aunt, chaos erupts. If that's not a curse, I don't know what is. So he plays along and says, maybe we really are cursed, for the sake of your only son's survival, Dad. It's probably safer if I never meet this aunt of mine. Of course, this earns him a massive scolding before he can finally hang up.
He finally drags himself back to the dorm, but the second he sits down, his roommate Wei Zhiheng sneaks up with a giant grin, practically begging, "Oh, great master, my absolute savior, I need a massive favor."
Not happening, he replies, trying to study. I need to prep for my level 6 exam.
Come on, Wei Zhiheng whines. That test is a joke for someone as smart as you. Just do this for me.
And next time you go to the art studio, I'll chase away all those annoying fangirls trying to watch you paint. You'll get the entire studio all to yourself. Honestly, as an art student, he is highly tempted by this offer. All right, tell me what it is first, he says. Well, my dad called and is forcing me to go on a blind date today, Wei Zhiheng explains. But I've never even seen this girl in my life. At this point, the pieces finally click for Gucci. Wait, you want me to go on a blind date for you? His roommate grins. Exactly, and you can totally ruin it however you want. Just make sure she absolutely hates me. Hearing this, our boy still looks pretty hesitant. Seeing him hesitate, Wei Zhiheng slams the desk and sweetens the deal. I'll buy you 3 premium brand new paint sets. Full individual buckets, top-tier quality. Well, for the sake of true brotherhood and free high-quality paint, obviously. He finally caves. All right, fine, when and where is this happening? This afternoon at 2:30 p.m. on the 2nd floor of the West Street Starbucks.
Meanwhile, in a high-end luxury apartment, a very trendy young woman is pouting.
How could you have a baby and not even tell me? She complains. Well, it was kind of a sudden emergency, her friend replies. Shi Qing can only smile helplessly. Right then, her friend Su Man spots the little baby bundle resting in the nanny's arms.
Her eyes instantly light up and she rushes over squealing, "Oh my goodness, a baby!"
What's her name? She is so incredibly cute and smells so sweet. Her name is Shi Ruyan, Shi Qing says softly. Oh, Ruyan, that is literally the cutest name ever. Su Man completely loses herself in baby fever, but after a moment, she suddenly snaps out of it. Oh right, I actually came here today because I need a massive favor. She quickly sidles up to her rich bestie. What could a wealthy heiress like you possibly need from me? Shi Qing chuckles. Well, my dad is forcing me to go on a blind date, Su Man whines.
He literally threatened to cut off my allowance if I don't show up. She looks absolutely devastated. Then she flashes a sweet, pleading smile. Qing, you're my absolute favorite person. Please go instead of me.
She blinks her huge eyes, begging with everything she has. I literally snuck out of the exhibition just for this. You're the only one I can trust.
Just help me this one time, and I promise Ron will be my official goddaughter.
I will be her second mom and absolutely spoil her rotten.
Since they've been best friends for years, Shi Qing has absolutely zero defense against our puppy dog eyes. She finally nods and agrees, making Suman squeal with joy. Yes, you are a lifesaver, love you! She quickly reminds Shi Qing, remember, it's at 2:30 this afternoon, second floor of the West Street Starbucks. Talk about a perfect coincidence. Cut to 2:30 p.m. on the second floor of the West Street Starbucks. Gucci uses the membership card Wei Jihang gave him to order a massive table of desserts. He starts happily digging in, totally oblivious to the sleek Ferrari pulling up downstairs. As a stunning high-class woman steps out of the car, she instantly turns every single head on the street. Shi Qing adjusts his sunglasses and heads up to the second floor, immediately locking his eyes on a white figure in the corner. He strides right over and asks politely, "Hello, are you Mr. Wei?" Hearing the three words, Mr. Wei, our main character, who was happily stuffing his face, suddenly remembers he is currently acting as Wei Jihao and quickly spins around. Their eyes meet, and Shi Qing instantly freezes, right there on the spot. Wait, isn't this that goofy kid from before? After a brief moment of shock, Shi Qing takes a seat, feeling incredibly relieved. That he wore a mask and sunglasses today. He says it is nice to meet him, but our guy instantly snaps back that he is not pleased. Since our main character is here to ruin this blind date, he starts blasting him with savage attitude right off the bat. "Why are you unhappy?" Shi Qing asks, feeling totally bewildered by the hostility. "Well, you are wearing a mask and sunglasses, so I cannot even see your face." Honestly, Shi Qing says if we actually vibe well together, looks do not really matter. But our guy disagrees. He is a total visualist who only cares about looks. A blind date's face and outer appearance are literally the most important things to him. And of course, their body, too, he says, staring directly at Shi Qing's thick chest hair. "Misu, are you underdeveloped?" Our guy's lack of filter is actually crazy, leaving Shi Qing completely caught off guard. She had a decent impression of this kid before, but now she cannot believe how incredibly rude he is. Seeing Shi Qing go quiet, our guy picks up a piece of dark chocolate cake and offers it. "Want a bite?" Shi Qing actually says sure and reaches out to take a slice. But our main character immediately snatches it back, telling her she should probably skip the dessert.
You are way too fat, he tells her.
He then happily crams the entire slice into his mouth right in front of her. Shi Qing takes a deep breath.
She desperately tries to suppress her rising anger and addresses him.
"Look, I came today to discuss a contract marriage just to satisfy our families. No interfering with each other after the wedding. What do you think?" Our guy is actually pretty surprised. He did not expect her to actually want a marriage, and she seems to have a surprisingly good temper. He was so incredibly rude, yet she still put up with it. "Mr. Wei," she says, "if you agree, just give me your number and we can draft up the paperwork." But since our guy already accepted his client's money and stuffed his face with free food, he absolutely has to ruin this date, so he decides to go completely all out. "Please, look at yourself. With those hideous looks, a contract marriage is out of the question. I would not take you even if you were free. Go take your failed chest surgery and get out of my sight." Shi Qing goes dead silent for a brief moment. She grabs her bag and stands up, making our guy sigh in relief. Mission accomplished. Or so he thought. Next second, Shi Qing snatches up the iced Americano from the table and splashes it straight into his face before he can even react. He completely freezes on the spot, screaming out, "What the hell are you doing?" He completely loses his mind, grabbing a chunk of cake and aiming to throw it right back at her. But Shi Qing is built different. She launches a hilarious cat-like combo punch right into his face. She even aims a brutal kick straight at his crotch, sending him backing away in sheer panic to protect his manhood. But he backs right into the second floor railing and he is about to tumble over the edge. Shi Qing quickly lunges forward to grab him, since she only wanted to teach him a lesson, and not have him break his neck. Flailing wildly, our guy desperately reaches out for anything to hold on to, accidentally grabbing her shirt and tearing it wide open, revealing her secret, gorgeous white chest. It is an absolute full view from this close. What is going to happen next? Our poor MC gets beaten so hard his nose starts bleeding, making the girl realize she messed up.
She straight up rolls him over and calls him a shameless scumbag.
Dazed and holding his face, he curses her out for being a total shrew. But he is determined to see her face, so he waits for her to lower her guard. Moving like lightning, he reaches out and rips off her sunglasses and mask. He gasps out her name, Shi Qing, but before he can finish, she shuts him up by covering his mouth because she prefers keeping a low profile. Terrified of getting recognized, she immediately puts her mask and glasses back on. Just then, the cafe manager finally shows up and freezes at the absolute wreckage. She quickly lies and says she is just disciplining her boyfriend and will pay for damages. Bowing and apologizing repeatedly, she hands the manager a fat stack of cash. Then she drags him out of there, fleeing the cafe in a rush. Outside, he accidentally looks at her chest again, and she snaps if he wants another beating. Shi Qing angrily crosses her arms, muttering about how much she despises this Wei Ji-heng guy. He warns her he will remember this, but then tells her to check her clothes. She looks down and realizes her breast milk is leaking. Talk about an incredibly awkward plot twist. Our MC hesitates for a second, then awkwardly hands over his jacket to help her.
Taking a step back, he asks why she claimed her last name was Sue.
Why the fake name? He demands answers.
Shi Qing ties the jacket around her waist and calmly explains the situation. She reveals she has two names because of her highly sensitive family background. Having just one name is too dangerous, adding that a kid like him would not understand. A kid? He is 23. But then Gucci suddenly remembers his mission today. Quickly getting back on track, he warns her that a contract marriage is absolutely impossible. He tells her not to play him for a fool, since she already has a child. I, Wei Ji-heng, will never be a stepdad. He drops the mic and runs off. Repeating the name Wei Ji-heng, Shi Qing silently memorizes it with a grudge. She immediately calls Suman and confesses she just beat up that Wei Ji-heng guy. She adds that if the Wei family has a problem, they can confront her directly. Wait, what? She completely panics. She asks if her friend is okay. Meanwhile, back at the dorm, the real Wei Ji-heng hears the whole story and loses his mind laughing. Gucci just glares at him. He is absolutely done. He complains about taking the hit, but his friend calls it a workplace injury. Honestly, who knew the Su family heiress was a secret pro boxer? Venting his frustration, he wonders how a mother can be so insanely violent. Wei Ji-heng is stunned she has a kid, suspecting some kind of trap. He decides to send a warning, but things instantly get worse. Wei Ji-heng is completely doomed. His dad is forcing him to apologize over a family dinner. He is terrified of being deleted. That night, Gucci is studying. Suddenly, his dad calls with some unexpected family news. His aunt just gave birth, and Gucci needs to deliver supplements tomorrow. His dad warns him to show some warmth and not act like a blockhead. The next morning, he visits his family clinic to gather the herbs. So he heads over to Dongqing district and knocks on the door. A gorgeous young woman opens up, and our boy tentatively asks if she is his aunt, wondering who this beauty is. Su Man is a bit startled, but her eyes instantly light up when she looks at him. He politely introduces himself as Gu Qi, the son of Gu Yunshan, saying he is here to drop off some medicinal herbs for his aunt. He hands over the package. She smiles, saying his aunt is not back yet. She asks if he wants to come in and chat for a bit, her incredibly passionate gaze basically glued to his handsome face. Our boy immediately declines, saying he won't disturb her since his aunt is out, before quickly leaving. He basically flees the scene in a panic, leaving Su Man behind. She can only stare at his departing figure with pure longing, before quickly grabbing her phone to call his aunt, Shi Qing. She literally squeals, "Qing Qing, I had no idea your little nephew was this gorgeous and fresh." She giggles, begging her friend to share his contact info already. Back in her office, Shi Qing frowns slightly when she hears this, asking if her nephew actually just stopped by her place. Su Man gushes that he brought her herbs and looked so incredibly cute and obedient. Su Man sounds like an absolute predator right now, so Shi Qing warns her to get rid of those thoughts immediately. He is her nephew, so she tells her to stop trying to ruin him. Feeling a bit embarrassed for being called out, Su Man quickly changes the subject, claiming she is not planning anything wild. She explains that she needs a fake boyfriend for the big Wei family banquet tomorrow. And since her nephew is such a visual king, bringing him along would completely humble that annoying punk from the Wei family.
Shi Qing helplessly pinches her nose, pointing out that the men Suman has dated could line up all the way to America.
So why does it have to be her nephew? Suman says she is sick of fake guys.
She insists that her nephew looks so pure and wholesome, easily placing him on a completely different level from those ordinary guys.
She begs her for this one favor.
Shi Qing suddenly thinks of a certain boy who also happens to have that incredibly pure look.
Except that kid is way too wild and needs serious discipline.
Snapping back to reality after thinking of that brat, Shi Qing lets out a sigh and agrees to at least ask him.
Meanwhile, right after our boy gets back to his college dorm, his dad calls him, out of the blue.
He is shocked to hear his aunt wants to buy him dinner, but his dad says she also needs a favor.
His dad tells him to just go, promising to text him the time and address later.
He warns him not to be late this time, and our boy jokes that he is always the most reliable.
His dad laughs and calls him a brat, and the very next day, our boy arrives at the designated restaurant.
Waiting right outside the entrance, Suman spots him in a second and eagerly waves him over. He looks around and asks where his aunt is. Realizing it is just Suman, she explains that his aunt is busy and will show up later.
She tells him to head inside first, immediately grabbing his arm.
He is completely caught off guard by this move, screaming in his head about how incredibly forward girls are these days.
She is straight up taking advantage of him, telling him he has to act as her boyfriend today.
She giggles and promises she will reward him handsomely for his help.
It all suddenly clicks for him, and he asks if this fake boyfriend gig is the actual favor his aunt wanted. Suman just laughs out loud, praising him for being so incredibly quick-witted.
She drags him straight into the restaurant, leaving him with absolutely zero chance to back out of the deal.
Once they enter the private room, a voice asks if Man got delayed yet again. But before her father can even finish his sentence, he spots our boy standing next to her and instantly freezes.
At the exact same moment, our boy freezes too.
He immediately locks eyes with a guy named Wei Ziheng sitting right across the table, who looks completely stunned and confused. Neither of them says a word, but their intense eye contact is already telling a whole story.
Gucci gives Suman a loaded look.
His brain is working overtime. Could Wei Ziheng's blind date really be Suman? But he met Shi Qing instead. This makes zero sense. Meanwhile, Suman proudly leans into him. She introduces him as her boyfriend. That single sentence changes everything. Wei Ziheng literally spits his water out in sheer shock. Suman completely ignores the mess and proudly addresses the elders. She claims she is young, so picking a handsome boyfriend is normal. Ouch, she basically just called Wei Ziheng ugly. Her dad slams the table, telling her to show some respect. He orders her to date Wei Ziheng instead. Wei Ziheng almost laughs out loud, then instantly gets serious. Calm down, Uncle Su. He blames himself and says they have plenty of time. Even with obstacles, he wants her. He gives her a deeply passionate look, leaving our MC absolutely stunned. Talk about a backstab. Is he just falling for her looks? Suman immediately asks if he needs surgery. She completely roasts him, but he just smiles. Right then, Gucci's phone buzzes with a secret text from Wei Ziheng. Wei Ziheng begs him, promising a reward. Staring at his friend's desperate face, our MC starts plotting. His aunt only said to help anyway. He gently pulls his arm away from Suman. It is showtime! He loudly praises Wei Ziheng for being incredibly refined and noble. He feels totally unworthy of her. He sighs deeply while everyone watches in confusion. I am sorry, Miss Su, but I just do not deserve you. He even wishes them a happy marriage. Wei Ziheng is absolutely thrilled. He secretly gives Gucci a subtle nod of pure relief. But Suman is annoyed. She asks if his conscience hurts, saying that with a straight face. Gucci just laughs. Conscience is cheap anyway. But as he turns to leave, the door suddenly swings open. Guachi freezes instantly. Suman immediately runs over to her to complain. Her complaint makes Shi Qing narrow her eyes. She asks if he really is Gucci. Our MC is completely speechless. He asks if she is his aunt. Suman confirms it, totally confused they have never formally met. The sky literally collapses on him. Remembering everything he did with her, he is completely cooked.
Shi Qing politely tells everyone she has to leave because some urgent business just came up.
She promises they will catch up another day before heading out the door.
But the second they leave, she drags Gucci away while Suman just sighs.
Suman tells her dad that Gucci is definitely not some sketchy random guy. He is actually a high-flying corporate chairman, making Su Fu break out in a sweat. Her dad stammers that he never said anything bad, while outside Gucci is begging Shi Qing to let him go.
Shi Qing corners him in an alley outside, warning him that even his dad can't save him.
She calls him out for being incredibly bold, crashing a blind date and acting like a total menace. Hands on her hips, she scoffs at his father calling him honest, while Gucci swears it's all a misunderstanding.
He desperately explains that it is not what she thinks, and he had no idea.
He never expected her to be the one showing up for Suman, so he starts frantically bowing and apologizing. Cornered like this with the stakes super high, Gucci is feeling completely on edge.
Shi Qing coldly asks which mistake he is apologizing for, and he squeaks out every single one.
He stares at her smiling face, completely terrified as she refuses to say another word.
Instead, she just drags him straight to her car as he weakly asks where his dear aunt is taking him.
Shi Qing tells him they are going to her place, asking if his dad forgot to mention it.
Her maid apparently doesn't know the right herb dosages, and since she knew he was coming over,
She tagged along with Suman to pick him up, though she never expected this wild surprise.
Gucci immediately begs her not to snitch to his dad because he knows the consequences. If his father finds out about his antics, he is definitely getting the leather belt treatment.
Shi Qing teases him, asking if she should report the spilled water or the blind date fiasco.
She adds his insults to the list, but Gucci warns her that if she snitches, he will start telling on her too, especially about what she did to him in the restaurant bathroom. All right, so hearing this, the driver in the front seat starts overheating from this crazy gossip. The driver listens with pure disbelief as Gucci points and yells that she touched him right there. He tells her to stop playing dumb, but she just laughs and calls his size totally average. Shi Qing acts like she has zero memory of the event.
Her eyes slowly drift down to his lap, leaving Gucci in a very awkward silence for a while.
Bro, what? He actually asks if she thinks he is small, making her look down at herself. She fires back, asking if her chest really looks like a failed plastic surgery. Gucci quickly panics and explains he only said that to sabotage their blind date. He reassures her that she is actually perfect, and then boom, he suddenly remembers how incredibly soft she felt. That soft and full memory gets him totally flustered, but Shi Qing just crosses her arms with a smug smile.
She decides that since he is being so sweet, she will keep his secret safe.
But first, she demands he address her properly to show his good behavior, making him hesitate as he remembers their past.
Though he is super reluctant, he swallows his pride and obediently calls her his good aunt. Shi Qing beams with absolute pride, praising her nephew for being such a good boy.
Once they arrive at her apartment complex and head inside, she suddenly remembers a call from his hospital stay. She recalls him talking to his girlfriend back then and decides to ask about her. She asks if his parents have any idea that he's dating someone at college. Gucci honestly admits that he has not mentioned her to his family yet. Honestly, his relationship with the school beauty Liu Ruyan is purely business, and he does not even want a girlfriend. She was the one who confessed to him, so he cannot fathom keeping things so secret.
Shi Qing teases him, asking if he is secretly a little playboy who breaks hearts.
But he just sighs, saying everyone knows he is always the one who gets played by others.
Shi Qing lifts Xiaozi's chin with her finger, teasingly asking her little nephew if she can have some fun too.
Xiaozi shoots her a suspicious look, threatening to tell his dad.
He steps back to get some space before they head up the elevator, arriving right outside his front door. Xiaozi complains that she's way too old to be acting this childish. But then, the door flies open. Xiaozi completely freezes when he sees his mom standing there. His mom, Shu Shi, is absolutely fuming as she steps forward and grabs him right by the ear. She yells at him for disrespecting his aunt. She asks if this is how they raised him, while Xiaozi desperately tries to defend himself. He wants to explain his side, but honestly, he's totally defenseless at this point. Looking for a lifeline, he begs Shi Qing with his eyes, but she just sighs dramatically. She tells his mom that Xiaozi is still young and probably shocked to suddenly have an aunt. She plays the victim card, claiming she's just bad with kids.
But she promises to try her best so they can eventually become like real family. Shi Qing finishes her little speech and shoots Xiaozi the most mockingly gentle look ever.
Xiaozi is completely speechless. Talk about getting folded by his own family. To make things worse, his mom points to Shi Qing, telling him to learn from his aunt. She delivers a quick kick to his butt, looking thoroughly disappointed in him.
Xu Shiyi tells Shi Qing that if Xiaozi ever makes her unhappy, she should just teach him a lesson.
Honestly, his mom literally tells her to trash him because he's had zero emotional intelligence since birth.
Once his mom finally leaves, Shi Qing smirks in victory.
She teases him to head inside, and Xiaoqi just huffs in pure annoyance.
He storms into the apartment, but they are instantly greeted by the sound of loud, non-stop crying. Shi Qing's playful vibe vanishes as she runs over to her baby, asking what's wrong. The nanny anxiously explains that the baby has been crying constantly and just won't stop.
She hands the tiny pink bundle over to Shi Qing, hoping a mother's touch will help.
Shi Qing cradles little Ron close, whispering sweet, gentle words to calm him down. As she gently rocks him, the baby's crying finally softens, making Xiaozi curious about his name. Looking at the tiny infant in her arms, Xiaozi low-key feels this strange, instant connection. Shi Qing lovingly reveals his full name is Shi Ruyan, leaving Xiaozi momentarily stunned. He asks if her husband is also named Shi, but she clarifies that the baby took her last name. Shi Qing sighs at his random logic, while Xiaozi analyzes their faces from an art student's perspective. He closely compares the mother and son's faces, eventually reaching a very solid conclusion. He casually tells her that the baby looks nothing like her, earning a massive glare from Shi Qing. She snaps back, asking if the kid should look like him instead, when suddenly the nanny chimes in. Talk about a god-tier assist. The author really cooked with this nanny's timing. She shows them that Ron and Xiaozi actually have matching moles on their hands. Shi Qing looks closer and finds that right in the exact same spot on their hands, there is a matching mole, though she doesn't think too much of it at first. After all, coincidences happen, but right then, little Ruyan starts reaching his tiny hand toward Xiaozi. Xiaozi tentatively extends his hand, and the baby instantly wraps his tiny fingers around one of his. The baby actually grins, which the nanny says is incredibly rare. She is so excited, saying it's clear the little guy absolutely adores his big cousin. Looking down at this adorable baby, our main character feels a wave of pure warmth wash over him. It is like something deep inside him has been awakened, and he instantly loves him back.
So cute, he says, pulling his finger back, but the second he does,
Ruyan wrinkles his tiny face and starts crying again, but he just ignores it. Grabbing a paper, the herb dosage and warning details for the nanny. Meanwhile, Shi Qing panics, begging him to help soothe the baby. Shi Qing helplessly hands Ron over. He tries to copy her movements, awkwardly rocking Ruyan back and forth. Honestly, this is his very first time holding a baby. Warm and so light, with a sweet, milky scent. In his arms, Ruyan smiles happily, tiny hands flailing and grabbing at Shi Qing standing nearby. He smiles. The nanny is loving this wholesome scene. The nanny thinks they look like a happy family. Suddenly, Shi Qing reaches out. She asks for his phone, but his hands are full holding the baby. He can only gesture with his eyes toward his pants pocket. Shi Qing immediately slides her hand inside to search. Suddenly, he frowns. Shi Qing looks totally confused, wondering what on earth is so huge in there. Immediately, she turns completely red. Our boy sighs, asking her if she really forgot what that is after touching it before. Blushing furiously, Shi Qing grits her teeth and tightly clenches her fists. But seeing him holding the baby, she refrains from hitting him. After that, grabbing his phone, she starts typing away to add her WeChat. She mentions his unread texts. He just shrugs. After soothing Ruyan to sleep, he prepares to leave. He takes out a 100 yuan bill tucked behind his phone case and places it on the shoe cabinet. Shi Qing is low-key stunned. She cannot believe this guy is so persistent, still carrying that bill. Only after walking downstairs does he finally pull out his phone to check WeChat. It is a text from Ruyan saying she got Master Wang's manuscript and wants to meet up. He literally freezes. And boom, he instantly bolts out of the neighborhood. Talk about being whipped.
She sighs and shakes her head, thinking her little nephew is just way too easy to manipulate.
Immediately, she calls her assistant, ordering them to contact those national art masters they worked with before. Meanwhile, our boy arrives at Icon University of the Arts in record time. Rushing straight to the girl's dorm, he makes Liu Ruyan pretty pleased. She knew the second she mentioned the manuscript, he would be wrapped around her finger. "Give me the manuscript," he says. "No need to rush. Let us talk somewhere else," she says, pulling him along by the arm. Leading him to the library rooftop, she asks if he remembers this spot. This is where they first met, back when his legendary talent made him famous campus-wide. As the school heartthrob, he used to come up here just to paint in peace. She was on the rooftop that day too, and was instantly captivated by him. "I did not expect anyone to be here," he replies coldly, calling it truly pathetic. Liu Ruyan is confused, asking him what is so pathetic about it.
She tells him to think about it. Without that moment, they might never have dated.
And they would never have been together, honestly. Liu Ruyan is trying so hard to trigger his nostalgia. Seeing him stay dead silent, she genuinely thinks this nostalgia trip is actually working. Liu Ruyan tries to strike while the iron is hot, apologizing for her attitude. She insists there is absolutely nothing shady going on between her and Kai-kun.
She tells Gucci not to misunderstand as she walks right up to him. Grabbing his arm, she begs him to get back together. The sheer audacity.
She tells him to stop bringing up breakup talk like it is nothing. When Gucci says he never cared anyway, Liu Ruyan is instantly thrilled.
She asks if he is serious, whining about how heartbroken she was before.
Gucci looks totally sincere as he tells her he only cares about one thing. He just wants to know if she can still get the Ming family manuscripts. He even admits he would have tried to win her back just for the papers. But get this, hearing his brutal honesty, Liu Ruyan's face completely drops.
She always knew the relationship was a transactional deal for those famous manuscripts.
Gucci was just playing the boyfriend role, but she never expected such coldness.
So she drops the act and pulls out the prepared manuscripts right there.
When she asks if he wants them, he honestly admits that is his only goal.
Gucci gets super excited and she promises she can get him an entire book.
But the catch is he must completely cut ties with Shi Qing. Plus, he has to post a couple pictures online, but Gucci instantly refuses. Shi Qing is his childhood friend, and their families have been close forever. She even helps out at his family gym, and his parents absolutely adore her. Cutting ties is impossible, and this completely sets off Liu Ruyan's legendary temper. She screams at him for refusing, complaining about all the school rumors. She complains that despite being his girlfriend, she looks like a third wheel. Gucci tells her if she keeps making ridiculous demands, they are officially done. He tells her to find someone else to play pretend and turns to leave. Panicking, Liu Ruyan runs after him and shoves the manuscripts right into his hands.
She tells him to just take one photo together and he can have them.
With the prize secured, Gu Hui quickly snaps the photo and immediately bails. Liu Ruyan immediately posts it online, flexing their supposed love at their meeting spot. She captions it with some dramatic line about their irreplaceable, everlasting happiness. Guachi leaves the library, but trust me, his day is about to get wilder. But he notices everyone staring at him and whispering. Something is definitely up. He stops a passing student to ask what is going on around here. The student tells him to check out the school gate to see for himself. You can practically see the gossip-loving fire burning in the kid's eyes. Hearing that, Gucci uses every ounce of his energy to sprint over. He rushes to the entrance, but the scene there completely stops him dead. His eyes almost pop out of his head when he sees a sleek black Ferrari. The sports car is parked right there, sporting a massive, flashy banner. It reads, Gucci's favorite big baby. Then he spots the driver. Recognizing that familiar face, Gucci instantly panics and tries to make a run for it. But Shi Qing spots him, yells his name, and steps out of the car. Her absolutely stunning and model-like figure has everyone turning their heads.
The guys nearby are literally drooling, totally mesmerized by her visuals.
Shi Qing walks straight up to Gucci and hands him a jacket. It is the exact jacket he used to cover her chest outside the restaurant. She mentions he left her place in such a rush that she forgot to return it. He takes the jacket, completely bewildered that returning some clothes required this massive scene.
Our guy aggressively blinks at her, practically begging her to just leave right now.
He is totally dying of embarrassment, but Shi Qing just gives him a highly amused smirk.
She locks her arm around his shoulder, teasing that she did not just come for the jacket.
Every student watching this unfold instantly gets their mind blown. People start whistling while phones snap pictures like crazy. The shutter sounds are endless, and he desperately begs her to get lost.
He tells her to tear down that cringe banner while shoving Shi Qing into the car.
But as she gets pushed in, she pulls a total pro move.
She grabs him and drags him right into the back seat, making him crash straight onto her.
Our boy lands face first into her softness, completely dazing him for a second. He only snaps out of it when the crowd outside lets out a massive collective gasp. The moment he tries to scramble off, Shi Qing suddenly locks him in a tight hug.
She whispers a laugh in his ear, instantly making all the outside noise fade away.
She asks why he is running, since she is his aunt, which makes him facepalm.
He is literally about to call out her crazy, shameless behavior.
But then, she whips out a sketchbook and opens it right in his face. The moment he sees the wild, powerful brushstrokes inside, his mind goes totally blank. He freezes up completely, suddenly asking where on earth she got this masterpiece.
His anger vanishes, replaced by pure innocence, while she smugly points out he is still pinning her down. He instantly scrambles up and respectfully helps her sit up straight.
He even shuts the car door to get the full story on this book.
She casually explains she swiped it from some old man's desk just to use as a fan.
Since she heard he is into art, she figured he might want to look.
She lets out a dramatic sigh, acting all hurt and rejected. She whines that she only has him, his dad, and his mom in this country.
Yet here he is, acting like she is the most annoying person alive. Panic mode activates, and our guy immediately starts bowing and apologizing to his aunt. He keeps insisting that he does not hate her at all.
She gives him a playful look, asking if that means he actually loves his aunt. He just stares at the sketchbook, asking if he can borrow it.
Hearing that, she happily hands over the legendary sketchbook without hesitation. She claims this stuff is useless to her anyway, so he can have it.
She has tons of these lying around, leaving him endlessly grateful.
He clutches the book like a holy relic, absolutely obsessed with it. This is literally a masterpiece by Master Shu, and she is just glad he likes it. She rests her chin on her hand, asking what about her, and he instantly shouts that he likes her too. She pats his head, asking if he will listen to her now, and he nods eagerly. Since she is his elder, he has to, which makes her smirk and call him her cute little nephew. She casually asks when he is going to break up with his girlfriend, leaving him totally confused. She explains with a straight face that dating right now is a total waste of time.
It drains energy, and besides, whatever he needs to succeed in his art,
his aunt can easily provide for him, leaving our guy completely shocked and hyped. He asks if he can even meet the legendary senior Shu, and she says of course. Shi Qing gives him a doting smile, promising to take him straight to his place.
Gucci nods like crazy with pure excitement, immediately whipping out his phone to thank his sweet aunt.
He immediately texts his toxic ex to break up, and his aunt praises him.
Shi Qing watches him with pure satisfaction before telling the driver to move the car. She waits until the crowd clears before letting him out, and 2 minutes later,
her assistant Chen Zi in the passenger seat finally asks what is going on. He wonders why Chairman Shi had him pack all those incredibly rare gifts. Just to visit Senior Zhu and secure some of his personal everyday artwork for her nephew. Was all of that preparation really just to give her nephew a study guide?
Shi Qing replies that Gucci loves art, plus her brother asked her to guide him.
Since he is graduating soon, Chen Zi suddenly realizes her hidden master plan.
He asks if she wants her nephew in the Shi Corporation, but she just laughs.
She shakes her head, saying the kid still needs some real-world experience. Joining the company now is out of the question, but she finds
she genuinely wants to watch him grow. Meanwhile, Suman is chilling at home with a face mask.
Her phone is buzzing like crazy in the background, with endless notifications flashing across the screen. Some guy named Wei Hang is spamming her, asking if she is free tomorrow or the day after. He is offering to be her personal chauffeur and take her out shopping, knowing she loves to hit the mall. He even promises to pay for absolutely everything she wants to buy. But honestly, Suman could not care less about his spam texts.
She completely ignores the noise and turns up her speakers. She just wants to relax and listen to historical documentaries in peace.
Suddenly, a loud screech completely ruins the quiet vibe as her cousin starts shouting for her downstairs. Su-man looks down to find Ruyan bursting in, crying absolute buckets and making a scene. She is stomping her feet, desperately screaming to find her cousin. Seeing her cousin looking like she just swallowed a bitter lemon, Su-man curiously asks what is wrong. She has no job stress and just goes to school, so why the drama? Ruyan starts whining, saying she cannot believe she actually got dumped by her boyfriend.
She complains about receiving a sudden breakup text and getting completely ghosted when she tried to call him back.
She is in pure disbelief because she never expected him to be the one initiating the split. She calls him a total scumbag for taking her expensive gifts and immediately dipping. To make it worse, he allegedly hopped into a Ferrari with some older sugar mommy right in front of the school.
Now the entire school is laughing at her, which makes her absolutely furious.
She starts tearing up, but her older cousin really is not buying the drama. Su-man shrugs, saying it is not even a big deal.
A breakup is a breakup, and she can easily find someone else anyway.
Ruyan pouts angrily, complaining that the real issue here is that he dumped her first. She wanted to be the one to dump him, but now she looks like the rejected one. Su-man pinches her nose, asking what she wants to do. While Su-man massages her face, Ruyan smirks with a smug expression, already plotting her next move. She asks her cousin to hook her up with famous traditional painters so she can get some of their sketches. She wants their sketches to make Gucci crawl back and beg her to make up with him. Once he is completely hooked, she plans to brutally dump him. Truly toxic behavior. Su-man stops herself, realizing how incredibly childish her cousin is. Su-man suddenly perks up and asks Ruyan who she just made up with. Ruyan has absolutely no clue, casually telling her it is Gucci. Su-man literally jumps out of her seat in pure shock. She asks if her boyfriend is really Gucci, and Ruyan just stutters back a yes. Looking at her friend's frozen face, Ruyan gets even more confused. Su-man stays quiet for a second to collect her thoughts. She realizes that a certain heavy hitter's nephew is actually named Gucci. If so, then Ruyan's online dating match must be none other than Shi Qing herself. Realizing the danger, she warns Ruyan to stay far away from him. His family has a terrifying temper, and there are plenty of other guys at Kun University. And of course, Ruyan gets super annoyed, slams her chair, and storms right off.
She grumbles that nobody has ever dared to treat her like this. Talk about stubborn.
The next morning, our boy spends hours flipping through an old notebook in his dorm. Elder Shu's notes. His roommate asks if he is still reading. His roommate Chen Honan walks over, joking that he cannot count on him for lunch. He glances down at the notebook and suddenly spots a drawing of a camel. He loses his mind, shouting that our boy is actually studying Elder Shu's work. Gucci just chuckles, giving him a highly mysterious, knowing smile. The roommate playfully wraps an arm around his neck, asking how much longer he will take.
He mentions that the campus cafeteria is serving an insanely massive feast today.
He asks if he should grab him something, but Gucci politely declines. Curious, Gucci asks if there is some kind of special campus event happening. After all, Kun University's cafeteria has never randomly done a huge feast before.
Chen Haonan explains that some crazy VIP guest is visiting and the school bosses are there.
Meanwhile, in a private corner of the cafeteria, the school leaders are sitting incredibly stiffly. All their eyes are glued to a mysterious woman wearing a mask and dark sunglasses. The principal nervously asks Chairman Shi why she suddenly wants to partner with their university.
He calls it an absolute honor, but Shi casually brushes off the praise.
Shi Qing simply says she was thinking about where her future child might attend college.
She wants Principal Chen to take care of things in advance, she adds smoothly.
Her eyes secretly scan the crowded cafeteria as the principal wonders about her child.
Principal Chen and the other school leaders exchange highly confused, awkward glances.
According to local rumors, her kid is still literally a baby in swaddling clothes. She just smiles, confirming that is exactly why she is planning so far ahead. She does not care how absurd her excuse sounds, but suddenly, nearby students start whispering. They all stare at the entrance, totally hyped that their handsome senior Gucci arrived. Girls whisper that he probably skipped meals again just to finish painting in his room. Honestly, even with paint splattered all over his white shirt, he looks incredibly handsome. Hearing that name, Shi Qing perks up instantly, her attention fully locked on him. She turns around openly and spots our boy standing there in his white shirt. As she watches him grab his food, she can't help but keep staring. She casually asks Principal Chen to invite a few more students for a group photo. She says she wants a memory here, and the principal enthusiastically agrees right away. The principal wanted this all along, but was too scared of annoying her to ask. It is a dream come true for him, but then she suddenly stands up and walks out. No need to trouble yourself, Principal Chen. I will find him. The principal and school leaders are completely stunned by her sudden entrance. Shi Qing marches right up to Guozi and drags him over, lunch tray and all. Just a quick photo with him is enough, she says, removing her mask. She orders her assistant Chen Zhe to snap the photo, while Gucci stands confused. Before he can even speak, she grabs his waist and playfully smacks his butt.
Why did you just smack my butt? His eyes are wide with utter shock.
He is completely bewildered and instantly puts his guard back up against his aunt. Shi Qing clears her throat and giggles, teasingly claiming she did not mean it. Gucci is low-key speechless. This wild aunt of his is completely unhinged.
Sneaking into school to tease him is wild, but calling herself his sister?
Principal Chen quickly reads the room and encourages Gucci to take the photo. Since he literally accepted her luxury bribes yesterday, Gucci behaves and stands there.
He makes sure to keep a polite distance, but then the plot twist. She suddenly pulls his waist, bringing them close together so the photo looks better. Do not be shy, she whispers with a playful laugh right in his ear.
Taking advantage of their sudden closeness, the assistant Chen Zi snaps several photos. He shows the results to Chairman Shi, asking her to review the shots. Shi Qing looks absolutely thrilled and proudly shows the best photo to Gucci. She whispers that they finally have a photo together, hoping he loves it. Gucci only tolerates this because of that rare manuscript she gave him. If not for that, there is no way he stays this calm. Shi Qing tells the school leader she has other business and must leave. She compliments their cafeteria and promises to visit again in the future.
She tells them not to follow, looking incredibly pleased with her mission.
The principal eagerly tells Gucci to walk her to her car.
Forced to deal with it, Gucci reluctantly agrees to walk her out.
He walks her all the way to her car parked outside school. Shi Qing turns back, asking why he is not saying goodbye to her yet. Gucci mutters a lifeless goodbye, but she demands a proper family title.
She refuses to budge, forcing him to sigh and say goodbye, Aunt.
Shi Qing instantly beams and starts babying him like a pampered kid. She invites him out this weekend for a photo shoot with little Ron Ron. But Gucci immediately rejects her, saying he has zero interest. Telling her to drive safe, he walks off, thinking he is not her kid. Why drag him to a kid's photo shoot when he already has weekend plans? He promised Shi Huaning a dessert date, leaving his aunt pretty disappointed. Back in her car, Shi Qing posts their selfie into a family group chat. She proudly pings his parents in their chat called Safe and Happy Family. She boasts about visiting Guangqi, calling him a total hot commodity at school. Gu Yunshan quickly replies that his son definitely got his good looks. Otherwise, with that attitude, any nice girl would have run away. His mom, Shu Shiyi, instantly jumps in to roast her shameless husband. Watching them bicker online, Shi Qing cannot help but smile genuinely. From the front seat, her assistant Chen Zhe notices her heartwarming expression. Our favorite female chairman is back, and her assistant immediately notices her amazing mood. She agrees, admitting that work is much lighter back home. Plus, she can see her brother anytime. And she finally gets to spoil her adorable nephew. Absolutely obsessed. Chen Zhe pushes up his glasses, looking like Sherlock Holmes. He calls her out for being too obsessed. First, she went out of her way to get him that rare manuscript. Now, she is literally skipping work. Taking a selfie at the university is next-level dedication. She gets defensive, claiming she is just being a caring aunt. There is nothing wrong with bonding with family. She quickly changes the subject, asking if his classes are always busy. Why is this kid always busy? Chen Zi can barely hold back his laughter. How can a brilliant business tycoon be this naive? The kid clearly just made up a basic excuse to dodge her. She freezes as reality hits. Chenzi grins. He tells her that Gachi probably has a date.
A date? With a girl? Shi Qing is stunned.
Total package. Girls are definitely lining up to ask him out.
Shi Qing stares out the window, processing this.
Go find him.
She claims she needs to vet the girl for her brother. Chenzi tells her to just go spy.
He teases that her aunt excuse is wearing thin.
She threatens to dock his bonus if he keeps teasing. He begs her to save his wedding fund.
Meanwhile, over at the art school dorms, the vibe is chaotic. Chen Haonan is watching Wei Zhiheng sketch like a madman.
The guy has already ruined multiple pages.
Wei Zhiheng calmly says it is fine because it is Honan's sketchbook. My new paper!
He immediately turns to Gucci to complain about the thief.
This guy is totally shameless. Gucci shrugs, teasing that art is just his heartbreak therapy. Wei Zhiheng drops his pencil, looking completely defeated.
He cannot understand why Su Man hates him so much. She ghosted him completely, ignoring every single text.
Gucci tells him that dating is just a waste of time. He thinks it is better to just wait until marriage.
What a hopeless take.
Haonan laughs, telling them to stop arguing over nothing.
With Gucci's looks, he will never have trouble finding love.
Wei Zhiheng grumpily complains, saying he's just worried the guy will end up henpecked.
Listening to his wife for absolutely everything, Chen Honan strokes his chin thoughtfully. Then he slams the table with a sudden idea. Why not find an older woman?
They are mature, tolerant, and basically the perfect supportive partner.
She would fit our legend Gucci perfectly. Wei Zhiheng then looks him up and down. Realizing Gucci actually has that riz, his eyes practically scream, "Do not forget me when you get rich." Gucci helplessly roasts his friends for being too idle, but Wei Zhiheng just laughs it off. Then he asks Gucci how much older of a woman he could actually accept. Gucci says as long as there is a spark, he is pretty much open to anything. As he casually answers, Wei Zhiheng suddenly starts reciting some classic relationship jingles. 3 years older brings gold, and 5 years older is like a mom. 8 years older brings wealth, and 9 years older means you have everything. He tries to remember the rest while Chen Haonan bursts out laughing next to him. 9 years older means having everything? But wait, 9 years older puts her in her 30s. What if she already has kids? You want our boy Gucci to become a stepdad? Concerned Gucci might get bullied, Wei Zhiheng instantly acts like a protective dad. He slings an arm around Gucci and says if he ever meets a rich single mom with a kid, he should not freaking hesitate. The kid might not be his. But the gorgeous rich wife is, and honestly, he has a point. Plenty of rich women love young guys like him, so he better not forget his bros later. Gucci just stares at Wei Zhiheng's shining face with pure disgust on his face. He firmly states that age aside, he is definitely not interested. He will absolutely never date a mother, but his friends tell him not to speak too soon. They claim they only want the best for him, not that they are trying to climb. By the way, they heard he's going on a date with Shi Huaning this weekend. The guys call him incredibly lucky, even though Gucci insists it is not a real date. He is honestly shocked by how fast the school gossip network travels. Apparently, Liu Ruyan posted on the school wall claiming she is waiting for him to get bored. Gucci feels so frustrated because he already made it clear they are broken up. But he clearly overestimated her brain cells. Fast forward to the weekend at a local cafe. Shi Huaning shows up looking adorable in a milk-white blouse with her soft curls cascading down. A silk bow adds a gentle touch to her outfit on this slightly chilly day. She happily takes a photo, noting how warm taro paste is the absolute best. Naturally, she makes sure to include Gucci's dessert in the frame as well. She does not show his face, but the cozy date vibe is definitely there. The sweet atmosphere is off the charts, and the food is genuinely amazing. Even though Gucci is a guy, he totally agrees with her. I mean, who does not love sweets? Soon, the waiter serves up some taro cheese. She adds a taro boba cake, then gathers her courage to softly call out his name. She asks if she can try his dessert, and he casually says yes. Gucci gets up to grab a clean plate, but she quickly stops him. She already expected his dense mindset, which is totally different from normal guys. Anyone else would use this chance to feed her and score an indirect kiss.
She suggests they just take a spoonful of their own and swap spoons instead.
After saying that, she waits nervously, not expecting him to actually get the hint.
When Yan generously scoops up a massive bite of Taro boba cake.
Plop, right onto his plate. In return, he scoops up a piece of taro cheese, feeding it directly to her. He is so incredibly nervous that he almost forgets to breathe.
She hums, but does not bite.
Instead, she takes the spoon and takes a taste herself. Delicious, she says. He laughs awkwardly. He stutters, asking Wenyan for a little more. She drops another big spoonful of boba pearls onto his plate. Just like the old days.
He has said all he can say, even if she is oblivious.
But honestly, just being near her is enough. Meanwhile, at a nearby table,
Shi Qing is wearing sunglasses, shamelessly keeping a close eye on their little date. He is completely zoned out. So much so that he starts chewing on the decorative lemon slice on his cup.
his assistant Chen Zhe holds back a laugh and asks why he's eating the garnish.
Snap! Shi Qing finally snaps out of it, realizing his whole mouth is incredibly sour.
Spit right onto a napkin. Chen Zhe whispers, asking what the boss has figured out so far. Shi Qing nods, noting that she seems like a great girl who is clearly into Gucci. He recalls his family mentioning Gui Qi's childhood friend, and this must be her. Soon, the two finish up their desserts. Wen Yan calls the waiter and pays first, which secretly makes Xie Huaning thrilled. Polite as always, he feels a bit bad. He points out he invited her, especially since she always helps at their clinic. But Wen Yan just smiles.
She says his parents have always been great to her anyway. Xie Huaning is beaming so hard he can barely look her in the eyes.
Watching from a distance, Chen Zi's actually pretty surprised by the kid, and honestly, so am I. He tells Shi Qing that his nephew is not totally hopeless on dates. Classic going Dutch, not on his watch. A kid raised well always has top-notch manners. Meanwhile, Wenyan grabs a takeout box. She packs up the cake and turns to look at him. Roommates? He declines, telling her to take the untouched puffs instead. His roommates eat too much junk food anyway. He suddenly mentions a new mystery movie. Yi Yoon. He nervously asks if they should go see it together next Wednesday. Honestly, this is too cute. Art-related? Wen Yan is immediately interested, agreeing to keep in touch. With hope in his heart, he watches her leave the shop smiling. Seeing those two leave, Shi Qing turns to Chen Zhe, looking pretty confused. What new movie is this? How come I do not know? It sounds exactly like our upcoming release. Chen Zhe is just standing there, completely stunned. He looks at her clueless face and weakly asks if the movie Yi Yoon they mentioned is ours.
Is actually our own company's film that is set to hit theaters next Wednesday?
He adds that she literally has to attend the premiere. Shi Qing's eyes just go even blanker. Chen Zhe facepalms, joking that her pregnancy brain is really hitting hard at this point. Shi Qing brushes it off and tells Chen Zhe to handle a quick task. He needs to grab 2 tickets for Sting's movie and send them to the kid. Just do not mention it is from her. Chen Zhe is baffled on how to deliver them. She calls him out, asking if he seriously lacks basic work skills. How is he going to earn wife money like this? With that, she confidently struts away. Chen Zhe sighs, muttering to himself about why women have to make life so hard for guys. Meanwhile, over in the college dorm, Chen Haonan is waiting. His eyes light up as he grabs the massive bag of desserts Gucci brought back. He calls Gucci his savior, who just tells his good son to eat slowly. Gucci smiles in satisfaction, while Wei Qiheng finally stops typing on his keyboard. His hands, which were typing frantically, also reach out to grab a piece of pastry. He asks if this is from that new shop nearby, since he has not tried it yet. It looks good, and the shop has already been open for days.
Chen Haonan is shocked that the rich guy at the dorm actually skipped out on this.
Usually, whenever a new spot opens, Wei Qiheng uses his rich kid cheat code to test it first. Suddenly, Wei Qiheng makes a completely pitiful and aggrieved face. He complains that he is broke now because his dad found out he offended the Su family heiress. His allowance is completely cut off, which makes the others laugh that he finally got humbled. Chen Haonan ruthlessly roasts him before begging them to buy him cafeteria food tomorrow. Wei Qiheng snaps at him, telling him to get lost since he does not trust him. He does not believe the guy is really out of options. Chen Haonan just shoves him aside. But Gucci sees right through him and jokes that he's just saving up for a date with Miss Su. Chen Haonan finally gets it and points at Wei Zhiheng in mock anger. He tells him to go starve, while Wei Zhiheng quickly laughs it off to change the subject. He asks Gucci how his date went with the school beauty, Xie Huaning. Honestly, when she asked him out, it caused a total meltdown. Half the guys on campus are practically heartbroken and crying tears of pure jealousy right now. Gucci just tells them to stop gossiping over a simple dessert, but Wei Zhiheng is frustrated.
He says anyone with eyes can see the way she looks at him.
It is completely different from everyone else. She is clearly into him. A childhood friend route is literally a cheat code, so why is he fumbling the bag? Gucci sighs and explains that they have just known each other since childhood. They grew up together, but he honestly only sees her as a sister.
She is incredibly gorgeous, hardworking, and basically has it all going for her.
Honestly, how can he not be interested in someone that perfect?
Chen Haonan clicks his tongue in disbelief, but then a sudden thought hits him.
He looks at Gucci with a suspicious grin, asking if his ideal type is actually older women? Honestly, the roommates are so real for teasing him. You just know a plot twist is coming. Our boy Gu appreciates the compliment, but doesn't even bother explaining. Instead, he just grabs a book on child psychology.
He starts reading. Suddenly, his phone vibrates.
Unknown local number. Who could it be? He answers. A very official voice asks if he is Mr. Gu. This caller is actually the theater manager, Chen Zi. Gua asks who is calling, completely confused by the random ring. Chen Zi explains he is promoting a new movie called Yiwoon. They're giving away free tickets to help spread the word. Incredible luck! Gu has been selected as their lucky VIP winner. Free movie tickets, and he can even bring his friends along. Write a short review. Easy, right? But Gu is highly suspicious. Hearing this long sales pitch, Gu curls his lips, mind racing. Since he looks hesitant, Chen Zhe offers to convert the tickets to cash. Cash? Fine. Gu casually demands the money for 250 tickets. Talk about bold. He is literally just messing with the guy. He has never had this kind of luck. No expectations. He just wanted to tease the support agent, but Chen Zhe completely freezes. 2.5 seconds of pure silence. Then Chen Zhe actually agrees. He promises to transfer 20,000 yuan to Guo's account right away. He just wants the friends to write a quick review after. Gui casually agrees and hangs up, thinking it's a total scam. But here's the crazy twist. He actually gets the notification. Right then and there, 20,000 yuan is deposited into his account. Absolutely insane. Gus stares at his roommates, feeling like a king. He asks his dear sons if they want to watch a free movie next week. Being a pop culture fan, Wei Zhiheng already knows about the film. But he wanted to invite Su Man, so Gu offers to treat her too. Limited spots. Act fast or miss out. Chen Haonan leans in, grinning. Why the sudden generosity? Gua thinks for a moment. Besides their dorm crew? Plus Su Man and Xie Huaning, we still need 244 more. The roommates exchange a look. Then they touch his forehead. Are you starved, stupid? Over 200 people?
Is this a movie date or a massive conference? Guy just pulls out his phone.
He shows them the 20,000 yuan text and explains everything. After hearing the truth, his roommates are absolutely jaw-dropped. How does he always get hit with this kind of luck? The three immediately start recruiting, and who doesn't love free movies? In less than 2.5 minutes, every spot is taken. On the big day, Xie Huaning is happily dressing up. Ever since his short text last week, she has been counting down the days. He just invited her to a movie, but she poured her heart into getting ready. To her, this felt incredibly special. It felt like the perfect romantic date, so she happily leaves her dorm. She spots Gucci slouching on a bench, head tilted back as he stares up at the sky. Chewing on some gum, completely lost in his own little world. Since her crush is right there, Xie Huaning decides to tease him a bit. She sneaks up behind him and gently covers his eyes. She stays totally quiet, but Gucci does not say anything either. He just sits there quietly. Why are you not guessing who I am? She wonders.
She sighs at how dense he is. Well, do not wear that jasmine hand cream next time.
I knew it was you the second I smelled it, he says. making her blush instantly.
There are tons of jasmine creams, she protests, but yours has a super distinct fruity note. Gusi calmly replies that the weather has been getting pretty cold lately.
Skin gets dry easily. Do you want me to help you apply some? She asks.
She asks tentatively, but he immediately rejects her, saying he already used some.
Mine is just unscented, he adds, keeping his distance. He walks off toward the entrance, leaving Xie Huaning to sigh in defeat. She quietly pockets the hand cream she had pulled out and follows him. They soon arrive at the cinema, but as Shi Huaning looks around, her excitement drops. The lobby is full of familiar faces. Wei Jiheng waves, asking why they took so long. He walks over to greet them, flanked by Chen Haonan and Su Man. Guqi is confused, asking why they have not gone inside yet. The staff said the first floor is full, so we have to go upstairs. All right, Guaqi nods, walking ahead without noticing the sudden shift in the air. Xie Huaning's happy face is completely gone, replaced by a dark shadow of disappointment. Su Man taps his shoulder and whispers, Guqi, do you seriously not know who owns this place? He shakes his head, confused. Wei Jiheng leans in to drop a quick warning. This is the private cinema of Shishi Pictures' chairman. Guqi pauses in his tracks. Right at the entrance, his eyes lock with Shi Qing sitting on a sofa in the back. Shi Qing is deep in discussion with a few very serious-looking businessmen. Glasses of red wine sit on the table, giving off pure elite energy. Guqi quietly sits down in the front row, not looking back at all. The other four friends are actually super perceptive. They make sure Guqi and Xie Huaning sit right next to each other. But Xie Huaning remains totally silent, her mood heavy as they wait for the movie. Before the movie starts, she finally asks, "You said you were inviting me." "But you invited a whole group. Was I just one of many?" The moment she says it, regret hits her instantly. Why did she even ask that? It makes her sound incredibly jealous. How would Guaqi view her now? Would he think she is being unreasonable? Guqi looks at her and calmly replies, "Actually, some of our teachers are here too." No shot! He did not just say that! Xie Huaning sits there utterly crushed. Shortly after the film starts, she cannot take it anymore and stands up. She apologizes, saying something urgent came up and she has to leave right away. "Sorry, I have to go," she says, practically fleeing the theater to hide her tears. Honestly, this is low-key heartbreaking. She knows he did nothing wrong, but she was so excited. She spent 3 whole days dreaming of some quality time together, even researching the plot. Just so she would have things to talk about after trying on countless outfits. Even so, she still couldn't melt the solid ice in his heart. Wei Jiheng can't stand it anymore and asks if he is seriously not going to chase her. But our boy just shakes his head, casually picking up some snacks. He calmly says she just had some things to do, leaving Wei Jiheng completely speechless. He finally understands why girls always feel so hopeless around clueless straight guys. Meanwhile, Shi Qing in the back row catches a glimpse of Shi Huaning running out and finds it pretty strange too. Like, why did she leave so soon? Once the movie finally ends, the tipsy group next to Shi Qing skips the post-credit scene and heads out early. Shi Qing gets up to see them off, but our main character stays to watch the entire scene before walking out with Wei Jiheng quickly. Saying goodbye to everyone in the lobby. Nearby, Shi Qing is busy wrapping up with her business partners. Su Man doesn't bother her, telling the group that the others can ride in her car. She tells our boy to just go with his aunt since her car's already packed. Once they take off, Shi Qing finishes sending off her partners and walks right over. He has no intention of letting his aunt drive him home, since he hates bothering people, so he tells her he will just grab a cab. But Shi Qing suddenly stops him, asking if he actually knows how to drive. Our boy nods, letting her know he got his license 2 years ago. She explains her assistant took the clients, and she is too lightheaded to drive right now. Plus, she had a few drinks herself, leaving her cheeks a little flushed. He asks if she wants him to drive, and she jokingly asks if he sees anyone else around. Shrugging helplessly, she tosses him the keys to her Ferrari. A few minutes into the drive, Shi Qing looks over and makes a sudden offer. She promises to buy him a brand new car as a graduation gift when he finishes school. He can pick the exact model, but our boy immediately refuses, rejecting a free Ferrari instantly, leaving her wondering if he just hates cars. He says his parents forbade accepting her gifts, making her sigh in defeat.
She complains that his parents are acting way too overprotective, treating him like a toddler.
Who shouldn't take things from strangers, even though he is literally an adult.
There is really no need to be this obedient, but he just stays quiet.
He keeps driving in silence. Looking at his profile, Shi Qing feels
That even though he is young and handsome, his entire vibe
is as boring as an old man. Then she suddenly changes the subject.
She asks how he managed to make that poor girl run away in tears, which totally confuses him. He maintains he did nothing wrong, and she only left early because of some errands.
Remembering how distraught Shi Huaning looked when she bolted, Shi Qing is not buying it. That excuse was obviously a flat-out lie, so she pushes further with another question.
Aside from his ex, is there really no other girl in college who has caught his eye?
Not really, he honestly admits, saying he actually finds the idea of dating pretty boring.
Maybe it is because he has never truly felt a spark with anyone yet.
So a sweet romance is just something he has zero imagination for.
She warns him that his parents will start pressuring him soon, but he calmly suggests doing blind dates.
Shi Qing is totally shocked. He is incredibly picky, so she tells him that instead of blind dates, finding someone he already knows is probably a much safer bet. Honestly, our boy Guo is not picky at all if his parents start pressuring him.
As long as the blind date has good character and wants to marry, he'll move fast. He'll secure them a daughter-in-law and even a grandkid in record time.
He says this with a deadpan, serious face, leaving Shi Qing completely stunned.
So you mean as long as she likes you, literally whoever she is? You're down to flash, marry, and have kids? Our boy just nods. To him, starting a family and bringing new life into the world is sacred. If a girl carries his child, he will absolutely dedicate his entire life to making her happy. Shi Qing smiles and asks if he likes kids. Under the moonlight, her smile looks incredibly stunning as she says she actually has one.
She says it's not his, but he can visit. Guo promises he will.
Since the kid is basically like a little sister to him. But then, she changes the subject.
She looks confused and points ahead, saying they've arrived at their destination.
Guo asks if she's sleeping there, looking up at the massive Junsheng group building.
But this place isn't her company, and it's definitely not her apartment.
Shi Qing gives him a look, asking if she looks like someone who sleeps around.
She rolls her eyes, grabs a fancy gift box, and steps out of the car.
She tells him she's meeting someone quickly and to wait right there. But before heading inside, she slowly walks over to the driver's side window.
She drops a few candies into his hand with a smile, then heads inside.
Our boy looks at her walking away, then stares down at the candy. He frowns, wondering if she's literally treating him like a little kid. Despite complaining, he still unwraps one and pops it right into his mouth. It's actually pretty good, but then he waits and waits as time ticks by. With no sign of her returning, he grabs the keys and enters the building. Pretending to be her driver, he sneaks all the way up to the chairman's office. But guys, when he reaches the door, he witnesses something absolutely insane.
He sees another woman landing a brutal, heavy slap right across Shi Qing's face.
The loud crack echoes through the hall as tears stream down Shi Qing's face.